Tonight, the 10-part documentary series, The Vietnam War, premieres on PBS. Joining us now, co-directors Ken Burns and Lynn Novick. Ken and Lynn, there's been a lot done on the Vietnam War, but what's so interesting about what you've done is tell the story of the North Vietnamese as well. So I want to play a compelling clip of an American soldier and a North Vietnamese and then talk to you about it after we watch it. Take a look.
Every major contact I remember with the NVA was initiated by them ambushing us. They wouldn't hit us unless they outnumbered us, and we were fighting in their yard. They knew the ground, we didn't. They were just really good.
Có một cái nhược điểm của Mỹ là coi như đi đâu là hút thuốc. Rồi các cái phiến hiệu nữa thì chúng tôi rất dễ nắm.
The North Vietnamese carried Soviet-made, seemingly indestructible AK-47s. The Marines had to fight with newly issued M16 rifles that had for a time a potentially fatal design flaw. They needed constant cleaning and often jammed in the middle of firefights.
Their rifles worked, ours didn't. The M16 was a piece of You can't throw your bullets at the enemy and have them be effective. And that rifle malfunctioned on us repeatedly.
Một người chết, một người lên kẹo. Vì người đi đầu một trung đạn rồi bị thương, bị chết rồi ấy, thì người từ sau người lên kẹo, thì là như thế là bị ăn đạn nhiều.
My hatred for them was pure. Pure. I hated them so much. And I was so scared of them. Boy, I was terrified of them. And the scareder I got, the more I hated them.
Tranh chấp giữa cái thương và cái tình cảm và cái lòng căm thù nó cũng có sẽ đan xen tranh chấp, nhưng mà cái lòng căm thù khi đã đánh nhau thì cái lòng căm thù phải diệt đối phương là chính. Cũng là việc quyết tâm diệt chúng tôi, mà chúng tôi cũng phải quyết tâm mà diệt được cho nhiều địch Mỹ.
There's so much going on in there, Ken. The interweaving of the North Vietnamese, was that always the plan?
Yes, and you know, I think that when Americans talk about the Vietnam War, which we do a lot, or also ignore it, we tend to talk only about ourselves. But if we really want to understand it, ask the fundamental, or try to answer the fundamental question, what happened? You've got to triangulate. You've got to know what's going on. And we have many battles in which you've got South Vietnamese soldiers and American advisors or their counterparts and Viet Cong or North Vietnamese. You have to get in there and understand what they're thinking. And the amazing thing in this film is just how similar our Marines and Army guys sound to the Viet Cong and the NVA.
Well, I want to, Lynn, ask you about that similarity when you were doing the interviews. Was that what struck you when you were talking to both sides?
You know, yes. Sarah Botstein and I had the chance to go to Vietnam multiple times to do a lot of these interviews there with people who fought on the winning side, and we kept hearing the same echoes of things that American soldiers experienced. And there was just a willingness and openness to tell their story in a way that they never speak about it in Vietnam, which is the human story, what the war was really like. The war there is sort of this grand, victorious narrative without people in it. And the people who survived want the next generation to know how terrible it was, how difficult it was. And they're very interested in communicating with each other and with Americans at this point. So we were the beneficiaries of that openness. It was incredible.
Any questions from one side to the other through your work?
Yes, they were very interested to know, you know, what was it like for the Americans? Did they know where we were? We knew where they were, you know, what were the conditions that they fought in? There's a lot of back and forth. We would love to put them all in a room together, and we have in the film, as Ken was saying.
All right, we're going to continue this conversation, but we need to take a quick break. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back in our second half hour with much more from Ken Burns and Lynn Novick.